Over the next 3 to 6 months, there will be a lot of people reporting on, speculating about, and even heralding a wave of foreclosures that will be hitting the fiery hot housing market. Many claim the foreclosure tsunami will be the cause of a new housing bubble. Yet I believe they are a little short-sighted, and I have some evidence that shows this is just not going to happen. As you probably know, the federal government placed a moratorium on foreclosures during the beginning stages of the COVID pandemic that kind of came to an end at the end of September. And I say kind of because there are many lenders that extended their own version of the moratorium through the end of the year. On top of that, there were millions of homeowners who took a voluntary forbearance period where they were allowed to stop making mortgage payments and have agreed to let the accumulated interest push to the end of the loan period. So, in a nutshell, there are several million loans in the U.S. that fall into one of these two categories, and many have said that when these homes hit the market, we're going to see a repeat of the housing bubble. Of course, they made these claims without an understanding of the overall market. What these incomplete reports fail to grasp is that the home values are rising due to low supply, so most of these homes have appreciated 20% or more since the beginning of the pandemic. In this graph, I'm using data from the Tallahassee real estate market, but in past videos, I've shown comparable graphs for the overall U.S. housing market, and they parallel each other very closely. What I'm doing here is comparing home values to foreclosures for the past 31 years. Home values are plotted in green, while the number of foreclosures sold is plotted in red. You'll notice the number of foreclosures has dropped incredibly low, to about 5 per month, but you also have to remember there's been a moratorium in place for federally backed mortgage loans that prohibited lenders from foreclosing. Once the lenders begin the foreclosure process, which often takes up to a year to complete, the homeowner can already have sold the home, repaid the loan and late fees, and pocketed some of the remaining equity. Now contrast that with the conditions in 2008. The market was oversupplied with homes and values were falling. The millions of foreclosures that entered the market after 2008 only added to the glut of supply and further depreciated values. The green line shows that from 2007 to 2012, home values fell more than 30%, thus removing the equity in the market that could have saved those homeowners. Contrast that with today, where the lack of home building has created a void in the supply side of the market, causing home values to soar. The current number of potential foreclosures will or might come from most of these properties having far more equity than debt, so the homes can be sold on the open market, allowing the owners to satisfy the debt on these properties. These won't be foreclosure sales, even if the foreclosure process has started. These will be arm's length sales on the open market, and the homes will sell for full market value. When you combine low supply with high equity and even moderate demand, you have all the ingredients you need to see home values continue higher, regardless of the foreclosures or sellers in distress that will arrive. Could a new housing bubble form? Yes. It would require mortgage interest rates to soar significantly higher, which would stifle demand, and at the same time, we would have to see home builders escalating new construction. This would cause an oversupply with the diminished demand, and thus when millions of foreclosures hit the market, we could see a bubble burst. But that's a lot of ifs that are not all likely going to happen. If you're wondering if a new housing bubble will form, you have to understand that while nobody knows for sure, we do know the pressure is on the Fed to keep rates relatively low to help the recovering economy thrive, which means it's far less likely. People are getting their jobs back. Lenders are motivated to rework loans for those that are delinquent, so right now, the odds are heavily in favor of no new bubble. If a new bubble were to form, we will see it coming. Subscribe to our channel and you'll get regular updates on any movement in the housing market. You can also subscribe to our newsletter by clicking the link below the video. Simply put your name and email address in the form and then confirm by email that you would like to receive our newsletter. It comes every Monday morning and you can unsubscribe anytime that you like. If you would like to see more videos about current housing market conditions, I've assembled a great playlist that you can view by clicking on the box on the top left corner of your screen. For my playlist of my top tips for home sellers, just click on the box below it. Please remember to like this video, check out the links below it, and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss anything.